Hello everyone. Today I am going to start new topic from your syllabus, that is of medicinal chemistry to 5th semester. Topic is drugs used in congestive heart failure, CHF. This congestive heart failure. These agents are generally also known as the cardiotonic agents. So let's start with the introduction about cardiotonic agents or drugs used in CHF, congestive heart failure. These are the agents that increase the contractile force of the heart and exert important action on cardiac excitability, automaticity, conduction velocity and refractory period. See, in other chapters of cardiovascular system, drugs acting on cardiovascular system, we have seen antihypertensive agents, anti-anginal agents, anti-arrhythmic agents, right? Anti-hyperlipidemic agents. So, in all these class, we studied drugs that inhibit the or excess heart rate or cardiac output or force of contraction, right? This one is the drugs which stimulate the heart, right? That's why they are known as the cardiotonic agents that stimulate the heart, right? That means increases the contractile force of the heart, right? Because these agents increases the force of contraction, that's why they are useful in the treatment of congestive heart failure, right? During heart failure, these drugs stimulate the heart and make it to work normally. So, cardiotonic agents increases the force of contraction of the heart and exert important action on cardiac excitability, automaticity, conduction velocity and refractory period. That means maintain the normal function of the heart. They are used for congestive heart failure, atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter and proximal atrial tachycardia. Atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter and proximal atrial tachycardia, these are the disease condition related to arrhythmia. These conditions we have studied into the chapter anti-arrhythmic agents, right? So these are the terms related to arrhythmia. That means irregularity into the heart rhythm or heart rate, right? So it also affects the cardiac output, right? And normal conduction velocity as well as automaticity and refractory period of the heart, right? So these agents help to maintain the cardiac excitability, automaticity, conduction velocity and refractory period. That's why they are also useful for the treatment of atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter and proximal atrial tachycardia, right? And these drugs used for the congestive heart failure because it increases the contractile force of the heart. They stimulate the heart. That's why useful for the treatment of congestive heart failure, right? Now what is congestive heart failure, CHF? A condition resulting from fundamental impairment in myocardial contractility leads to a reduction in cardiac output which becomes inadequate to meet the metabolic and circulatory requirement of body. Okay? Mainly this one is because of the impairment in functional impairment as well as fundamental impairment in myocardial contractility. Myocardial contractility, that means contraction of myocardium or myocardial muscles. Myocardium, that means heart, muscles of the heart, right? Myocardial muscles, that means muscles of the heart, right? So if this contractility of the myocardial or contraction of the heart becomes irregular or become impaired, then it affects the different leading reactions into the body. For example, impairment in myocardial contractility leads to reduction in cardiac output, right? Because heart muscles or myocardial muscles does not contract properly, then that will affect the cardiac output, right? That's why decrease in cardiac output, and that's why decrease in cardiac output leads to the impairment in the blood circulation. There is no proper blood circulation in case of decrease in cardiac output. Heart does not supply the blood to the body as per the requirement, normal metabolic requirement, right? So decrease in cardiac output leads to the poor blood circulation, and that's why it is inadequate to meet the metabolic and circulatory requirement of the body, right? So it is the congestive heart failure, that is CHF. So ultimately, if heart becomes failed or heart fail occur, then there is no circulation of blood into the body, and that's why all metabolic process and circulatory requirement of the body get failed, right? So it is a severe condition, congestive heart failure, right? Basically, there are two types of agents which increase force of contraction of heart muscles or myocardium, right? First one is cardiac stimulant. This agent increases force of contraction of heart muscles along with increase the oxygen demand, right? For example, adrenaline, theophylline, these are the adrenergic agents, right? Or you can say sympathomimetic agents, right? These drugs stimulate the heart, or you can say increase the force of contraction of heart muscles, but along with it increases the oxygen demand. Second term is cardiotonic agents. These agents increase force of contraction of heart muscles without a proportionate increase in oxygen consumption. They are positive inotropic agents, right? Main difference between cardiac stimulant and cardiotonic agent is that oxygen demand, right? Both cardiac stimulants as well as cardiotonic agents both increases the force of contraction of heart muscles, but cardiac stimulant increases the oxygen demand, while cardiotonic agent does not increase the oxygen consumption, and that's why oxygen demand, right? That's why cardiotonic agents are known as the positive inotropic agents, right? Positive inotropic agent, that means agents which increases the force of contraction of the heart muscles without consumption of the extra consumption of the oxygen, right? So these are the cardiac stimulants and cardiotonic agents, and that's why cardiotonic agents are more preferable. Let's say classification of cardiotonic agents. There are two main classes of cardiotonic agents: cardiac glycoside, or you can say cardiac glycosidal positive inotropic agents, right? Cardiac glycosidal positive inotropic agents or cardiac glycosides. And second class is non-glycosidal positive inotropic agents. Cardiac glycosidal positive inotropic agents, again you can classify it into three classes according to the source of cardiac glycoside from which it is obtained. First one is from digitalis, cardiac glycosides which are obtained from the digitalis. Example, digitoxin, digoxin and lanetoside. Right? This cardiac glycoside, digitoxin, digoxin and lanetoside obtained from the digitalis. And second one is from Strophanthus, right? Plant Strophanthus. Examples are strophanthin and ubein. These two glycosides, strophanthin, ubein, which are useful in the treatment of cardiac congestive heart failure, are obtained from the Strophanthus. Next one is from squill. Example is silarin A. Right? From squill, silarin A cardiac glycoside is obtained. So these are the cardiac glycosides which are used as cardiotonic agents which are help to treat the congestive heart failure. Next one is non-glycosidal positive inotropic agents. There are four classes. First one is beta-1 adrenergic receptor antagonist. Example, dobutamine. Second one is phosphodiesterase inhibitors. Example, amrinone, milrinone, etc. Then calcium ion sensitizers. Example, pyroxenone as well as phenoxymone, etc. Next one is miscellaneous agents include sulmazole, nasiritide, bosentan, tezusentan, etc. So these are the all classification of cardiotonic agents or drugs used in congestive heart failure. Right? Main two classes, cardiac glycosidal positive inotropic agents and non-glycosidal positive inotropic agents. Cardiac glycosides include digitalis and digoxin, digitoxin and digoxin as well as lanetoside which are obtained from digitalis. Then strophanthin and ubein obtained from Strophanthus and silarin A that is obtained from squill. Right? And non-glycosidal positive inotropic agents, beta-1 adrenergic receptor antagonist, phosphodiesterase inhibitor, calcium ion sensitizers and miscellaneous agents. Let's see structure of different cardiotonic agents. First one is given structure is digitoxin, right? Digitoxin and digoxin. These cardiac glycosides obtained from the digitalis plant, right? As these are the glycosides, they contain the steroid nucleus which is attached with the sugar moiety, right? We know that the structure of glycosides, it contains two main portion, aglycone and glycone portion, right? Aglycone portion contains steroidal nucleus and glycone portion includes sugar moiety, right? See here, this one is the steroidal structure or nucleus that is attached with the sugar moiety or glycone part, and this steroid nucleus again attached with the lactone ring, right? This one, this lactone ring plus steroid nucleus part combinedly known as aglycone part, right? See, digitoxin and digoxin both are same molecule, similar, not same but similar molecule, except difference is that presence of hydroxyl group, right? Here in steroid ring, at this position OH group is present, while in digitoxin this OH group is absent, only hydrogen present, right? In digitoxin here only hydrogen present, while in digoxin here one hydroxyl group is present, right? This is only the difference between structural difference between digitoxin and digoxin, right? Otherwise both are similar structure. Then ubein, that is obtained from the Strophanthus. right? Again it is glycoside, that's why it contains the steroidal nucleus, right, and sugar moiety. Here celarine, that is obtained from the squid, it also contains steroidal nucleus and lactone ring, but here 3 glycone part or sugar moiety is absent, right? Next, dobutamine structure, it is beta 1 adrenergic receptor agonist, right? Beta 1 adrenergic receptor agonist, dobutamine, it is dopamine derivative, catecholamine derivative, dopamine is catecholamines, right? So it contains the catecholamine structure. What is catechol? First of all, benzene ring having 2 OH group which are present at 1,2 position to each other, right? This structure is catechol, and this catechol attach with the side chain which include amine group. That's why this whole structure generally known as catecholamine, right? So dobutamine is catecholamine derivative. That is the it have the structural similarity with adrenergic neurotransmitter dopamine, then adrenaline, noradrenaline, right? Then ambrinon, it is phosphodiesterase inhibitors, phosphodiesterase enzyme inhibitor, right? It contains the heterocyclic ring pyridine, right? 2 pyridine ring, one is simple pyridine ring and second one is a substituted pyridine ring. Next one is pyroximone, it is calcium ion sensitizer, right? It contains imidazoline ring, right? Imidazolinone ring, right? Imidazoline ring contain 1 carbonyl group, that's why imidazolinone ring, right? And 1 pyridine ring, right? 1 imidazoline, substituted imidazoline ring, 1 pyridine ring, both are attached with through carbonyl group, that is pyroximone. This one is the neseritide, it is a glycopeptide which contain 32 amino acids, right? These are the serine, proline, lysine, methionine, valine, glycine. These all are the different amino acids, 32 amino acid glycopeptide neseritide. It is miscellaneous agents, miscellaneous class of cardiotonic agents. Then bosentan and azoxantan, these are also miscellaneous agents. This contains heterocyclic ring like pyrimidine. These 2 pyrimidine ring are attached with each other and 1 sulfonamide group, right? Here also 2 pyridine ring and 1 pyrimidine ring with sulfonamide linkage, right? So these are the bosentan and azoxantan. Let's start with the cardiac glycoside. See just introduction of cardiac glycosides. These drugs are widely distributed in the nature and have characteristic action on contractility and electrophysiology of the heart, right? The cardiac glycosides are an important class of naturally occurring drugs which are present in plant, for example, variety of plant, and in a glycosidic form in poison of toad, right? In plant, present into the leaves of Digitalis purpurea, Digitalis lanata, right? These both contain the digitoxin and deslanoside, right? In next plant, that is the present in seeds of various species of Strophanthus. In this species of Strophanthus, strophanthine and ubain are obtained, right? Then in Helleborus species and squill, silyrin A can be obtained. Right? So these are the different source of cardiac glycosides. Then cardiac glycosides are the drugs that increase force of contraction of heart muscles without a proportionate increase in oxygen consumption or oxygen demand. Right? That's why they are exert positive inotropic effect. Right? That does not involve more expenditure of energy, and that's why they are called as cardiotonic agents. Right? Let's see chemistry of cardiac glycosides. Mainly, as I said, cardiac glycoside contain glycode part and aglycone part. Right? Aglycone, that is known as the non-sugar moiety, and glycone part, that is the sugar moiety. Right? So first start the chemistry of aglycone part. Right? So in digitalis glycoside, ring AB, this one is the A, B, C and D. Right? So ring A and B as well as C and D ring are cis fused. Right? Especially in digitalis glycoside, AB and CD ring fusion is cis fusion. Right? Whereas B and C, this middle two ring, that is B and C, have trans configuration. Right? So this is very important fusion of the ring. Right? AB and CD are cis fused while BC ring are transfused. Right? Steroidal skeleton has flat structure. This 4-ring skeleton structure has flat structure. Right? And fusion between ring B and C must have trans configuration. Right? Now see here, numbering of this steroidal ring or aglycone part is given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Then 11 start from here. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This 17 position is very important because here 17 side chain, nature of C17 side chain is also important. That's why, right? So 17, then here 18 and 19. It is fixed, right? Always numbering to the steroid ring of glycosides given like this, right? So see here at third position, C3 position, OH group is present generally, right? If here glycone part is not present, then it is here OH group, hydroxyl group is present, and it is beta axial form, right? Its configuration is beta axial type, and these entire steroids carry 14 beta OH group. Here see at 14 position beta OH group is present. The configuration of this OH group is beta type, right? Then C17 side chain, here see C17 side chain is beta unsaturated lactone ring, right? Here in place of R, unsaturated lactone ring is present, right? If the lactone moiety like this are equal to like this one, right? Then cardinolides, this steroid nucleus is known as the cardinolides, right? And while are equal to this one 6-member lactone ring, here 5-member lactone ring present in cardinolides, and in bufadinolides 6-member ring lactone ring is present, right? So nature of this unsaturated lactone ring is very important. It affects the activity, right? Then the lactone ring should be coplanar, right, with side chain, and if it is coplanar side chain instead of ring have even higher activity, right? If in place of lactone ring here chain compound is present, then it has the high compound, shows the high activity, right? Then the activity of the compound depends to great extent on the position of 23rd carbonyl oxygen, right, which is held quietly rigidly by the ring D at the double bond. Right? If here this this type of ring present, then again 20, 21, 22, 23 likewise numbering is given. Right? Now from here, removal of sugar portion allows epimerization of 3-hydroxyl group, right? With a decrease in activity and increase in toxicity due to changes in polarity. The squill glycone carries a 6-membered lactone ring with 2 double bonds. None is used because of the high toxicity. Right? Now let's see chemistry of the glycone part. In glycone part or in sugar part, the OH group at C3 position of the aglycone portion usually conjugated to a monosaccharides or polysaccharides with beta-1,4 glycosidic linkage, this one, right? In aglycone part, here OH group is present. At that OH group, this sugar moiety is inserted, right, via beta-1,4 glycosidic linkage, right? And sugar may be monosaccharide or polysaccharide. The number and type of sugar vary from one glycoside to another, right? And the most commonly found sugar in the cardiac glycoside are D-glucose, D-digitoxose, L-raminose and D-crimerose. Right? These sugars predominantly exist in the cardiac glycosides in the beta configuration. Right? These are the naturally occurring different type of sugar which are present in the cardiac glycosides. Right? Next, SAR of cardiac glycosides we will discuss into the next lecture. Right? In today's lecture, we have seen introduction of cardiotonic agents, then classification of cardiotonic agent, as well as the structure of different cardiotonic agents, right? And chemistry of the cardiac glycoside. Right, two portion, glycone and aglycone portion. Aglycone portion contain the steroid nucleus, which is again attached with the side chain, that may be lactone ring, unsaturated lactone ring, or side chain, right? And glycone part, that is sugar moiety, and this sugar moiety is vary with glycosides. It may be D-glucose, it may be digitoxose, L-raminose, and D-crimerose, right? This type of sugars are present in the different cardiac glycosides, right? And the different configuration we have seen into the chemistry of cardiac glycosides are very important, right? So it is the chemistry of cardiac glycoside. Structure activity relationship of cardiac glycosides we will discuss into the next lecture. Thank you.